Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine, and I vlog daily to keep you updated on real life situation in my country, Ukraine, as this war with Russia continues. But our resistance continues, and I'm sure you will witness the victory on my channel. So if you're new, check my videos and subscribe, because the world needs to know more about Ukraine. And today I am going to take you in a very special place where Ukrainian volunteers, mainly women, make specific nets that are used by Ukrainian armed forces for the protection of them, and it's really difficult to recognize people hidden behind these nets. It is a very specific skill, a very difficult and important task, and I'm sure this will be interesting for you. Of course, not everything I will be able to show, and the conditions for filming are not ideal, but this is real Ukraine, and I'm sure you like things like that. We all know that libraries are special places, but in Ukraine they sometimes fulfill a totally different and even more important function during this year, during this Russian war in Ukraine, and many volunteers organize themselves here. Today I will take you for a brief excursion and will introduce you to beautiful women and men who work in the construction of camouflage nets. Not all of them want me to film them, and I have to be careful with that, so do understand that the quality won't be top, but these are real people doing real volunteering job in one of the places. And this is the beautiful women who come every day to do the job, to support the Ukrainian armed forces the way they can, preparing specific nets. And this is just the beginning of the process, but there are many that are finished already, and this is how they look, and they are packed, and soon they will be taken to the front lines and actively used. By the way, lots of soldiers give their feedback, and they say that these are the best nets, the ones produced in my region. And this is how it all works. A very difficult work, difficult for your eyes, difficult for your hands, for your fingers, but at the same time very important. And it's very symbolic that everything is done in a library. These are colors used for camouflage, and the fabric is specific. It depends greatly on the season, because in winter they are white, and in spring they are green, in autumn they have to be grayish, yellowish. Then all of this fabric is divided, separated into such stripes. Everything is handmade, and then out of these stripes nets are made. These nets help to protect cars and other equipment so that it becomes invisible. How quickly they can work. And this is a different kind of a net that is used to protect snipers. They cover themselves with it. Sometimes it also can be of different colors, and once again this is a really difficult task, how to make out of these really small stripes big constructions that help our Ukrainian soldiers survive. And you see the books are helping to do the job. So for me it is a very emotional place, and now I will try one by myself. I am trying by myself, and by the way, it's not that easy.
Значить, пропускаємо один ряд, а слідуючий ряд плетемо через кожну четверту, але я собі так завжди поставила типу маячка, щоб він був посередині отут. Так. Оце поставила маячка, і тут береш і раз, два, три, четверта і сюди.
Такого самого?
Ну, або коричневого, такого самого. А світленькі, це в нас тут метода, що нам часом плетемо, плітаємо однаково, рівномірно. А зараз нам сказала Віка, що отак треба плямки такі зробити, світленькі, так як, як ці,
отак,
типу сонячні світлі.
Так чи?
Та воно ляже як попало. Але зараз пішли ці чи коричневі.
Yeah, so we take, for example, a brown stripe, and then we count 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters, and then It's not that easy, but that is a skill that comes. By the way, it's difficult for eyes and fingers, but it's more difficult for those who are on the front lines. People are doing it much faster than I do. They're This is how a final version for a sniper, for example, looks. They are called kikimoras in Ukrainian, but you see different colors, and there is also a hood that you can put on your head and be totally protected from the enemies who will never identify you wearing this fashionable like clothes. For example, totally hidden. To make it more emotional, every package to the front lines is supplied with the paintings, with the drawings of Ukrainian children. And many of them like add emotions to people, and what is also important, many of them fight so these children will live in a normal country and won't need to join the Ukrainian armed forces in future. You see, even in English. During this brief conversation with these beautiful women, I have learned a lot. Well, first of all, they receive orders from the front lines, and sometimes they have like an order for 60 different nets. Battalions and people who order these nets tell them the qualifications, the qualities of the nets they need, and the colors. The colors can be different shades of green, different shades of brown, different shades of gray. For example, if you work in the city surrounding with concrete, you need gray. Also, it is very important to make the ornament of these nets very different, because if they look similar, or they can be recognized by drones. The sizes of the nets that they make can be really big and occupy more than a hall of the library. People involved in making of these nets come from different corners of Ukraine, and many of them are internal refugees who came from Donetsk, Mariupol and other cities, and now serve to help Ukrainian armed forces by doing that. Also, they had made nets for HIMARS and other important weapons that you have supplied us with. So there are different models, different sizes, and people are really professionals in that. And they are doing it for a year, because the very first location opened on the second day of war. People are united, people support each other. Of course, they need money and resources to do that. They've learned a lot. They have changed the materials that they use, because these materials are perfect to hide. Drones cannot recognize them as human beings. Also, they cover worms, so that specific gadgets that help you identify human worms cannot do it. And many of them, like the majority of them, work. Some of them are pensioners, but they dedicate every day of their life to do the job. Some of them are Ukrainians who returned back from European countries like Italy to support Ukraine during these difficult times. By the way, this is also a very serious movement that we don't talk about. We often mention Ukrainians who fled the country because they had to save themselves from hot regions, hot zones, but there are also lots of Ukrainians who came back from European countries to support Ukraine during these difficult times. I hope you like this excursion, If you want more of this, let me know in comments, and we will be ready maybe to film it more professionally. I think it is a perfect combination: library, people who want to be useful, connection with Ukrainian armed forces, and they've managed to do it on a really professional level. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support, for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons, and most importantly, thank you for your support of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!